Hi lovelies, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a different video today and do a little bit of a Christmas workshop and show you guys some stuff. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a scarf, it's because it's so cold in here. I can't afford heating, it's super expensive, but luckily I have people upstairs and downstairs that keep it a little bit heated in here. It's -degrees outside, so no wonder it's kind of cold today. So I just wearing a scarf because it helps a little bit. But anyway, I'm gonna make some stuff and show you guys some stuff. So one thing I'm gonna make is one of the I guess Yule logs. Don't remember. I don't really know what's the proper name, because if you do Google it, you kind of find all of the cakes. But traditionally, it's not a cake. But I'm gonna try and make it myself and not die, because I'm gonna use, I guess, power tools. That looks kind of scary. And try and make holes and put candles in them, or in it. I also have my lights. I wanted to buy green as well. They didn't have green. It's really hard to find, I guess, the colors you want. But with the spiral candles, twisted candles, I suppose you would call them, in brown and white. They are what do you call it? Battery powered. They are not real, because I didn't want to use real flames on a log and whatever this is called, which I do not remember, from a tree. Yeah, my English is really bad. Yeah, gonna glue it on the log. So yeah, I'm gonna start. So I don't know how good my microphone is gonna be, because I'm using a headset as I am away for holidays. So this is all I have that I can use. So just have to be good enough. So the first thing I did was to cut the oranges, and I'm horrible at cutting. When it comes to fruits and bread, everything is just crooked and really bad, and I wanted the slices to be perfect. Some of them were really good, other not so good. So I did my best. After cutting them, I put them on a baking tray, and you have to bake them for a really long time. I did find a recipe on how to do it, but I had to bake them for way longer than the time it was written on there. So I think it was maybe 2.5 hours or 2 hours to 3 hours for each side, but I ended up baking it for way longer, and after all that time it still was a little bit like soggy and moist. So I think I should have baked them for even longer, but I didn't. But I think they are good enough. So yeah, this was the first time I have dried oranges. So all of the things I'm gonna use is lined out and kind of ready for assembly. I just have to drill a hole in that log, and that was kind of tough. Okay, so I'm gonna try. Oh, this is so scary. Okay, don't die, don't die. Damn, how do I do this? Would you believe me if I told you that I used days on doing this? I used a few days drilling holes into this log. It was super hard and kind of challenging, because just standing there drilling, it's really hard on the hands. You get really tired really fast. And it didn't really drill very well either. So I had to find a solution, because this was really hard. So I've been trying to drill for a little bit now. The issue is that the power tool, it stops spinning. I think the log is too strong and my power tool isn't strong enough. I'm trying to charge it a little bit to see if it's a power issue, but I don't know if it's supposed to take this long and be so hard, but it might be the case. I also tried to drill over here, but I couldn't even get deep enough for like the big circle, as you can see, before it stopped rotating. So what I ended up doing was drowning the log for a day in hot water. I tried to soften the log a little bit and then drill, and I think it helped a little bit, but it was still really hard. So yeah, I used a few days on this, so yeah, appreciate it. Okay, so this is as far as I'm gonna drill, I think. The candles can fit, but they are not going the entire way down. I'm gonna use these candles that use batteries to light up. So they look like this. And you just, I guess, twist, screw, put batteries inside. Which I also have over here. Oh, those are too big, damn. I do have small one. I thought I needed to use these. That was completely wrong, so I'm gonna get the other bag. Small ones. Have a lot of those, because not a lot of products need the small ones. So I think it's 2. Yeah, lights up. As you can see, nice. And the buttons are on the underside. I have never had electrical ones before. Not that I have candles at all, to be honest. So yeah, gonna look like this. You can kind of see. I'm gonna take the tape off actually. So I'm gonna try and hide I guess this with the greenery I have over here, which I'm gonna just glue on, and then I also have my dried oranges, which I'm gonna glue a little bit off, and the cinnamon as well, and try and make it look nice. It also smells very nice, so I like that. Okay, so we are at the gluing stage right now, so I just cut off a little piece of my greenery over here. It's real. It's starting to dry a little bit. Still smells good. So I'm just gonna start and try and glue them around, and hopefully it will look decent enough. And I like that they are real, because then it smells like nature in here, and it's so nice. So I know Sweden has been really good at keeping the older traditions from Norse times and before that, while Norway has lost a lot of it, and I think that is incredibly sad. Like, you have Midsummer, which is very... People look at it as very culty. I guess it kind of looks kind of culty. There's this movie about it as well. But I think it's such a cool and special thing that they have kept alive, as well as this holiday goat, the Thor goat. They make a big one each year, which is really cool. So we have this thing called Yule board. I guess it translates to Christmas table, holiday table, Yule table, I guess it would be more the proper name for it. And that is a significant tradition here in Norway, which I think is pretty cool, because it roots back to like the Viking feasts. So historically, the Vikings celebrated the winter solstice with a large gathering that featured feasting, drinking of course, which is still pretty big, and honoring the gods. But I guess that part has changed since then, but originally it was to honor the gods. So these celebrations were centered around food, particularly meat, fish and ale, still is today, and where they ensured good fortune for the coming year. So the modern, the modern julebord is a festive meal that often takes place in December, featuring a wide array of traditional Norwegian dishes, such as herring, fish, cure meats, roast pork, and Christmas ham, along with various pastries. It's very often a social event with friends or family, very popular with co-workers. So if you have a job, usually during this time, you will get invited to julebord with your other colleagues. So it's a very social thing to do. A julebord has evolved over time. It still retains the spirit of those Viking feasts, focusing on community, abundance, and merrymaking. So yeah, that's something we still have today that the Vikings did back in the day, and I think that's pretty cool. And I like to keep traditions like that is rooted from like old times. They have changed a little bit, but it's kind of still the same. And the holiday Yule today is very big in Norway because of the Vikings. So that's something that has kind of kept itself alive. So we still call it Yule, which I guess is more of the Yule English term. We never called it Christmas. We still use the Viking name for it, and that it's really cool. So, I guess this is kind of the fun part where we are gonna start decorating. And I want some of the prettier oranges. I guess this one's kind of pretty. And I don't know if I should have them maybe kind of like this. So after gluing all of the greenery on, I started gluing all of the decoration. And I just used a heat gun for all of the gluing. I'm now gonna make an advent calendar out of an orange and this kind of spice, which is called nellik in Norwegian. Don't know what the English term for it is. Didn't check it, should have, didn't. So yeah, gonna make an advent calendar. So this one is really fun. I remember having one as a child, but I haven't had one since. It's very simple. So you take your this kind of spice and you take 24 of them and you just press them into the orange. Like this. 1, 2. Then just keep pressing until you have 24 of them. So this is a very traditional Scandinavian piece. I did try to like Google and find information about it. But I remember just reading that people thought it was a cult symbol for fertility cult back in the day. But I feel like everything is fertility based somehow. But it's also, or what we do know is that it's the goat that carries Thor's, I guess, wagon or something like that. So it's tied to Norse beliefs back in the day, and it's still a very big part of, I guess, Norwegian Christmas. Or it's dying a little bit, but I'm also trying to bring it back. I remember I had one when I was a child, didn't find it, so I did buy a new one, because I think this is a pretty cool tradition. It's very old. So, but yeah, Christianity happened and kind of killed a lot of, I guess, actually Christmas traditions. The name is itself is Christian based because it's Christmas, but the holiday itself has nothing to do with Christianity. And I find it a little bit funny that Jesus wasn't even born in December, but people just took it and now people believe it. So it's, yeah, kind of fun how history works. But this is a pretty cool piece. So my decoration is done. I think it looks really nice actually, and it smells so nice as well. It smells like Christmas. I don't know why oranges are tied to Christmas, but they are. Going very old school, I guess, Scandinavian, Nordic style decorations, which are cool. And this calendar, I had this as a child. It's kind of fun. It also smells good. But you have 24 of those inside it, and then for each day you pull out one until there are none left. But I kind of like the look of it, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. And then we have the candle thing. When the I guess Christmas is over, you're supposed to put it inside a fireplace and light it on fire. But yeah, usually you have real candles as well, and everything is like natural, so you can burn it. But I really like the natural look of it. It's very nice. The colors are really nice. Just wish I had some green candles as well, because it would look a little bit better, I suppose, with some green candles. But this works. They look a little bit crooked, but yeah. So I decided to make a Christmas stocking just a few days before I had to leave, which I guess wasn't the smartest decision. I started like 2 days before figuring out the design and everything. I designed the stocking pattern in Illustrator. I wanted to upload it as a freebie, but I won't be able to do it until after I have returned home, since I'm not home at the moment. So you guys have to wait for that. I have a lot of leftover fabrics from when I made my Junshin cosplay, so I wanted to make a stocking inspired by her. So I have a bunch of diamonds
that I wanted to use for Genshin but didn't. So I did use some of them for the stocking. And yeah, as I said, I designed the pattern in Illustrator. I don't have a printer, shocking, I know, but I have this Cricut machine, so I decided to scale it a little bit down so it could fit my mat, and then just use the machine to cut the pattern out for me. So that's what I did.
So I have some leftover fabric from when I did Junjin, so I'm gonna use it and make a Christmas stocking, which I think will be fun and kind of cosplay related, I suppose. So I'm gonna try and do something. I did a little sketch in paint in bed when I was about to sleep. So I'm gonna try and do whatever that idea was. So this is the pattern I made. I made it in Illustrator and I'll have it on my Ko-fi and Patreon for free. So if you want to download it. I don't have a printer, so I just use my Cricut machine to cut it out. I'm gonna sketch, I guess, my idea on top of it. So it looks like this, 2 parts. I also have a lot of beading that I bought for Junshin that I never used. So I'm gonna try and see if I can use some of it on the stocking. This is for the new K, which I haven't done yet. So not that one. So I have a lot of pink. So I did a little bit of a oopsie. As you can see, they are the same side, same pieces. But I think it's gonna be okay anyway. This is kind of how I wanted it anyway, with a little bit of a different back. So it's gonna be a little bit shinier.
So I did follow a video tutorial on how to sew this stocking, because that's something I have never done before. And making the pattern, I just used the existing pattern, not a pattern, but I used my stocking at home and just measured it up and tried to, I guess I'm just make it as a pattern. I also did iron on some interfacing to make it a little bit more sturdy and structured. So what you do when you are gonna sew the cuffs is that you cut out your pieces, obviously, and then you put right sides together and you sew it on the top like I am trying to show you guys here. And after you have done that, you kind of fold it out and sew the edges as I'm trying to show you guys here. And I hope you can understand what I'm trying to explain, because me explaining things, I'm kind of bad at it. And that's how you sew the cuffs. So the next thing I'm gonna do is the stocking itself. So I'm taking my back piece, the one that is going to be on the back side, and I add a little bit of interfacing to it to make it a little bit more sturdy. So I'm using the same vinyl fabric that I used on my Junjin cosplay for some detailing for the stocking as well. So what I did is that I sketched out the outline on the fabric itself, because when you add the, I guess the glue thing, the heat and bond, it's very hard to draw on top of that. Then you just iron on your heat and bond on top of the fabric. You cut it out. I ripped off the paper before I started cutting it. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I had to clean the edges because you don't want to ruin your iron when you're gonna iron this on top of your fabric. I wanted to do a kind of diamond shaped design when doing the beading, so I had to draw that on top of the stocking. Watch the video on how to do it properly, because this was also something I haven't done before. Super easy. You make a X or cross, and then you kind of line, I guess start lining from the X you have made. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'll try and link a video down in the descriptions on how to do this diamond shape from someone who can explain it a little bit better than I can. But I'm still trying to show you guys how I did it with this awful camera angle, because I'm in my bedroom doing most of the work and lighting in there is awful. Trying to get the camera setup is really hard because of my bed being in the way, and the room is really small, so there's not a lot of space. I did underestimate how long the beading process would take, because it took hours, and people who do beading, no. I think I should have been using one of those embroidery hoops, because I think that helps with the when you're sewing it doesn't pull the fabric or gather it on the back, because it did a little bit of that. But I thought that since I wouldn't do a lot of beading or sewing, it wouldn't be an issue. So I guess I would recommend using a hoop regardless if you want to do a proper job. Also, the backing, it doesn't look super nice because I didn't really know how to sew or how to finish it to look nice on the back. So I only focused on the front. So if you are somebody who does this and know how to embroider and do beadworks, I am so sorry because it does look nice. So that is something I want to try and learn and get better at, because beadwork and also embroidery is just incredible work, and adding that to cosplay is so cool. So that's something I want to actually get better at and learning. I guess I went with a more of a simple design also because I didn't have a lot of time, so I tried to rush this and do it as fast as I could. The plan was to add some more beading, but yeah, didn't have time, so I had to scrap it, and this is how it turned out. So now I'm gonna sew the stocking. So you take your main pieces and you have right sides together like this. And then you take your lining as well and you put that on top. My lining is the same on both sides, but you have the right sides together here as well. And then I'll just pin everything together as good as I can and then sew it. So now I'm gonna take my pinking shears and cut around it, and if you don't have one, just do some cuts in the bue. Yes. Now I can turn it inside out, because yeah, cuts. Looks cute. Still have the lines drawn on. And I spill a little bit of glue. Oops. So yeah, now I'm gonna take the sew the top. You can also see that you have the front and you have the back, and you also have the lining prepped like this when you sew it like this, so it's super easy. So before attaching the cuffs to the stocking, you need to make the handle. What do we call it, handle? But the top part, you need to make that. So you can either use a ribbon or you can make it yourself. I did make it myself. So you just cut out a rectangle and you fold, you sew, you turn it inside out. So you take your cuff and you pin it around like this inside, and when you have sewn it, you turn it inside out and it should be done. But I have an issue where I think I cut a bit too big of a piece, so it doesn't really fit, so I'm gonna just cheat and say it's done, because I have to leave in like 30 minutes and I won't have time to fix it, and I also want this video out before Christmas, so it's done. But yeah, it didn't fit, and it should look nice like this, but yeah, mine is not sewn and not complete. I don't know if I could like make it. I mean, it does look like it's big enough, and I am watching a tutorial and I'd say that it might feel a little big. I think it should be fitting actually, but yeah, anyway. So you should have a nice Christmas stocking. I think it's nice.